Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hello, and welcome to the day before Thanksgiving 2015. It's a beautiful but cold morning here in Pittsburgh, PA. That's why I've got my jacket on. So it's freezing here in the studio. How are you? It's Friday to me. Looks like it was Friday to a lot of other people, or late Friday, because there's no one on the roads. It's like everybody's either gone already or they're not going to work. I don't know. Why haven't I ever had a job that you can, start holidays early? I've never had a... In fact, all the jobs I've ever had, I often had to work on holidays, so that holidays didn't even mean anything. If you work in news, holidays, what's that? So, I shouldn't complain. We could spend the entire hour talking about what we're thankful about. But this is, of course, a sort of talk radio audience, and that wouldn't go down too well. Unless you'd like to. I mean, we do concentrate so much on the horror of humanity, but there are other things going on, you know. People are behaving well in many, 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 many places at many, 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 many times. And our relationships one-on-one with people should give us some solace, at least for those of us who read the newspaper on a regular basis. Anyway, I got a few things here up my sleeve that we could talk about. I don't want to wade in, if you don't mind, to Syria, ISIS, Russia, France, Turkey. I don't want to. It's definitely gotten more complicated just in the last 24 hours. And I don't want to. So, Ted Cruz is pulling ahead in Iowa. I mean, pulling ahead of everybody but Trump. But he's close to Trump. He's statistically, I guess, tied. That's the one to watch out for, Ted Cruz. I used to say it was Scott Walker, so you can tell how much I know. But Ted Cruz, the one to, just as much of a lunatic bigot as Trump, but with a little more subtlety. Not much. What passes for subtlety among Republicans. But dispiriting. As for shootings of black people by white people and white police, I don't want to talk about that either. I can't bear it. I'm a little worried in the Chicago situation that they've charged this cop with first-degree murder. I don't know enough about... Because first degree is obviously the toughest to prove. That's premeditated. And within 6-7 seconds of coming on the scene, that guy started shooting. I don't know how you could... It worries me. I mean, here's what I don't know. So if you're charged with first degree, can a jury decide, well, it's not first degree, but it's second degree? I mean, I just don't... Or do they have to say not guilty of first degree? Can they drop? That's what I don't know. I mean, if in fact they can say, well, we don't think it's first degree, we think it's second degree, and still get them on murder. But why did they set the bar that high? When you're dealing with a cop, it's hard enough to convict without... I don't know. I have been looking at that story out of the corner of my eye because I just can't... I don't want to see any more black boys and men shot down for no reason. I can't bear it. I really can't. So, anyway, I'm a little worried about that. I'm plenty worried about lots of things, but I'm worried, and this is not something that is on many people's radar. I'm worried that in a trial that has gone to the jury for, I think the jury's had it for well over a week, in West Virginia, a trial that I have followed, the trial of a son of a bitch named Don Blankenship, who was the chief executive of Massey Energy Company and owned, of course, the mine that's in which 29 workers died because of the refusal of Blankenship to tolerate just basic safety requirements. So the fact that he's on trial in the first place was a bit of a victory. But now that jury keeps telling the judge, we're deadlocked. How the hell you can be deadlocked on that one, I don't know. And thank God that the judge in this case is refusing to declare a mistrial. He told the jurors, you go right back in there. I have no... the judge is saying, I have no reason to believe you're deadlocked, but they are. So it'll be... I don't understand. He's accused of... should be accused. There's somebody who should be accused of murder. He's accused of, violating safety regulations, but he's also accused of security fraud or something, securities fraud. He's a bad, 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 bad man. A bad man. An evil man. And I want him, if anyone deserves jail, this bastard does. And the thought of that jury, the first thing I thought of is somebody got to a juror. He is so... Blankenship was used to sort of controlling the justice system in West Virginia. He was palsy-walsy with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. They vacationed together, even as the Supreme Court was hearing cases in which Blankenship was involved. One of those cases went directly to the U.S. Supreme Court, which I believe set things somewhat right. I don't know. So there's that going on, which is troubling to me. There's, did you hear the story about the 4-hour-old baby put in a creche in a church in New York? Well, I'll say this. That's a loving act by some terrified young mother, is my bet. And she did the right thing. The baby will be okay now. I hope they don't make a big to-do about finding the mother. They will. I hope they don't in any way punish the mother. She tried to make sure her baby would be safe. And she did. I mean, that baby was found almost immediately. I don't know. God. What a world, huh? So do you see that for the first time, traffic fatalities in this country have just seen a steady decline for years and years and years because of safety regulations, because of seatbelt laws, because of airbags, because of better... because of regulations that required that the car manufacturers made their vehicles safer. But the problem is those vehicles are driven by human beings. And human beings just steadfastly refuse to get smarter. As a matter of fact, I think in some ways we're getting stupider. So... all of a sudden, after all of this traffic deaths down, now, we're going up. And in some places in the country, up pretty astonishingly and precipitously. So what's changed? The cars haven't changed. I believe what's changed, and anybody who drives has noticed it, there are more irresponsible, distracted drivers on the road than ever before. 90-some% of all auto accidents are caused by human error or lack of human judgment. So just the fact that now when you're driving, you see people can't drive, apparently can't drive or live for 1 minute without a telephone stuck on their head. Right away, that's a less safe driver. Then you end up with the texting crap and people looking down at their phones. There is a distracted driver. And we've all seen them. We're all aware of how dangerous they can be. And so it is not a shock that here we go. After years and years of decline because of this steadfastness of human stupidity, we are now going in the wrong direction. Which is why, I got to tell you, the cars that are going to drive themselves, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I won't look forward to it. I enjoy having control myself, but there will be fewer deaths. And there was an article in the local paper today about bus drivers who drive regularly through Oakland, you know, the Forbes corridor, Fifth Avenue corridor. And they talk about anyone who ever goes through Oakland on Forbes or Fifth knows that the students, it's almost like they're begging to be killed. You just sort of wonder. I mean, I've often thought 4-year-olds left unattended are more careful crossing a street. I mean, here are people who are supposed to be adults, young adults to be sure, and I guess it's that thing where I'm so young, I'm so wondrous, I'm immortal. So they literally, well, you know it. I don't have to tell you anything I don't know, but I have had a few close calls in Oakland where someone just, again, never looking. How do you walk into a street and never look up? How do you do that? That person is too stupid to be in college. That person should immediately be thrown out and sent back to kindergarten, where the classmates can probably educate their large new member of the class. God. And the thing is, all this inattentive walking can not only take a life, the walkers, but can ruin the life of a poor person who might hit them, hurt them. So anyway, they're talking about how do you get through, between the bikes weaving in and out, the distracted drivers, the distracted pedestrians, everybody in a hurry. Yay. It is a wonder that we don't see more fatalities than we do. Anyway, what else we got here? I'm sitting on this for a long time, but what the hell? Are you aware that at the University of Ottawa, is this so old that you all know this? All right. The University of Ottawa, specifically the Center, I think, for Students with Disabilities. They have had a yoga class there forever. Yeah, you have heard this. It's been canceled. The forever been there yoga class is no more. You know why? Because according to some student leaders, it amounts to cultural appropriation. See, I'm telling you, this is the kind of liberal shit that will make people into conservatives. cultural appropriation. You know what I like to think of it as? I like to think of it as the kind of thing that makes America great. Different cultures come together and we do, yes, appropriate aspects of different cultures. And making this hodgepodge of an Americanized mutt culture, which takes in the best stuff of all these, the best food, the best health practices, the best this, the best that, and you end up with a wonderful, wonderful place. How is that cultural appropriation? Why isn't that cultural? I mean, I don't pretend to quite understand all of it because I know yoga has a religious kind of aspect to it. And now there's all kinds of different kinds of yoga that never, ever were seen before they came to America, before yoga came to America. But so what? It's just a natural evolution of people moving around the globe and coming together and picking up on it. It's cultural appropriation for someone in China to eat a friggin' hamburger. It's cultural appropriation. I don't even I can't. And the fact that people cave to this. So, the Center for Students with Disabilities, worrying about cultural appropriation, said, many of these cultures that have had things appropriated have experienced oppression, cultural genocide, and diasporas due to colonialism and Western supremacy. True, 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 true. We need to be mindful of this and how we express ourselves while practicing yoga. What? If we can't take in and appreciate, I mean, people are doing yoga because they appreciate it. Okay, so if we take in other cultures' stuff, even cultures that we have not treated well historically, because people will be people, how is that? I mean, to me, that's something you would celebrate, not condemn. And so it goes on and on and on. And this is why political correctness run amok is a dangerous thing. Next time you're eating a pizza somewhere and some enraged Italian comes up and rips it out of your, right out of your mouth, understand, just understand, will you, that you have been properly pushed back for your just unthinking cultural appropriation. And I'll tell you, as a marauding Jew, I might head into some bagel shop somewhere and cause havoc with what this country has done to the bagel. I'm serious. I can see myself going in and blowing every cinnamon raisin bagel right off the rack. It is an outrage! Shit. God, are we nuts? Okay, anyway. Chuck writes, if you had asked me months ago which Republican candidates had absolutely no chance of winning even a single delegate, I would have said Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. Well, Chuck, looks like you ain't going to be much of a political pundit, are you? And Chuck says, I would have based that opinion on my assumption that the general voting public just isn't that gullible. By the way, I saw somewhere, I think in a story about how the latest poll of likely not voters, they call caucus goers in Iowa because they do it in that caucus thing. When Cruz is sort of statistically in a heat, he's got like 27%. Trump's got like 30%. The good Dr. Carson is free falling, and Rubio sort of still doggedly coming up. This is just in Iowa, and they said that the pollsters know that the makeup of the caucuses, Iowa caucuses, are going to be. Listen to this. I mean, this refers, Chuck, to what you said. You thought that the general public just isn't that gullible. Well, the caucus goers of Iowa, on the Republican side, it is known, because the pollsters poll, that they tend to be extremely conservative and do not have a college education. So they are less educated. And less educated people are more vulnerable to being had, I would guess. So there you have it. Margie saying yoga is not a religion. I know it's not a religion, but it was incorporated, was it not? I mean, it's spiritual in some iterations, yeah. And I mean, I know if you were to talk to some like serious like evangelical types, they'd say that practicing yoga is like, is like what, devil worship. Yeah, it's definitely getting into some really seriously verboten kind of territory. Oh boy. I've decided to just laugh and laugh and laugh about people, my fellow human beings, because otherwise I will, I think, unravel. And increasingly, I'm feeling like unraveling. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Monica. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Ray writes, Lynn, happy evacuation day. What? That used to be celebrated as the day the last British soldier left New York. We have a call. Excuse me. Hello.
Hello. Hey, I forgot to mention something to you that I read, maybe a month ago. I just thought about it. That they said that this country was the most prosperous when we were protectionist in history. When we didn't involve ourselves in global and all this, when we were isolated more. And I believe it, 100%.
I don't know if that is historically
in that situation,
true.
You're doing everything in your own country. You're building things. You're making. I mean, that to me is so important. When you lose all that base of that and not making anything anymore and buying it somewhere else, you've lost it. The prosperity won't be there.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
However, we ain't going back to where things used
No, but
to
I'm
be.
just saying these people that brag about global economy, and all it does is take care of the rich. No doubt about it.
Well, I'll tell you, it seems to me, yes, it takes care of the rich, but it also starts leveling things out so that the richer countries, the people in the richer countries, that's you, see your income go down, your prospects go down, as a lot of millions of people in countries that weren't, they had huge impoverished populations, start coming up. I mean, because we had so much for so long, that's part of what's happened. The rich at the top, they're always going to make out like bandits. But it is a global economy, and there's nothing you can do.
No, you can't change it.
Okay,
now.
I'm just saying.
The genie's out of the bottle.
Yeah, it is.
And another thing they said, every time we bought, and I know you hate to hear this from me, immigrants in this country, the wages went down. because there's more people to do a job.
Immigrants have been coming into this country since
it's
day
proven
one.
in history, though. This is not bullshit. This is facts this guy was writing. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying it's...
When did your people come to this country?
Probably when your people did.
No, really? That's pretty late. My people...
I'm not sure.
My people came at the beginning of the 20th century, 1900s.
I'm not positive because it would be my great-great.
Okay, well, maybe...
It's going back.
Well, all I'm saying is when my people came, there were people saying what you're saying. Is like, stay the hell out of here. You're going to take my job. You're going to depress my wages. And, things were pretty much okay. I mean, I'm just saying it's always the way it is.
Oh, right.
Get a rosier outlook for the new year. That's all I'm telling you.
Right, I understand that. But I'm just saying it's just the facts are there.
All right. I'll take your facts and I'll give you a whole bunch of other facts because that's a fact of the way we live now, right?
Oh, we can't.
I don't know about your friggin' facts. Where'd you get them?
I can't remember who wrote it.
Exactly right. Okay.
But it wasn't, one of these
a
sites
seeming
that were,
nutcase, right? But I don't know. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, you do the same.
Okay, bye. Be happy you're not a turkey. Well, I'm just saying, if you're a turkey, you're dead. I always thought it was fun. I was always, I was the feature reporter, always sent to do the pre-Thanksgiving story. I've been on a number of turkey farms. You do not want to go on a turkey farm. Horror. I felt so sorry for all those birds. They've been genetically altered to the point they can hardly stand. Do you know that? A turkey can hardly stand up alive because we've made them unnatural. They're walking around like, ugh. I mean, you can damn well bet you they can't fly, but they can barely walk. And then what do they say? I mean, it's just gobble, gobble, gobble. I said, it's like you're asking for it. What do you mean, gobble, gobble, gobble? That's exactly what we're going to do to you. Sick. All right, back to Ray's screed, because anytime he brings up the Brits, it's a screed. Happy Evacuation Day. That used to be celebrated as the day the last British soldier left New York on November 25th, 1783. Thanksgiving stole Evacuation Day's thunder. But, that was Abe Lincoln who did that. You don't want to... I'll go with Abe. But I wonder which we should be more thankful for, the British showing up or the British leaving. Well, in some ways you can't have one without the other because it is what is. I watched this thing on PBS last night about the Pilgrims. And it occurred to me as I watched, it was based in large part on the diaries of some of the Pilgrims, including William Bradford and some other guys. And as I listened to it and watched it occurred to me that I don't know a damn thing about them, the Pilgrims, because it's one of those things in school that you learn from kindergarten on. The Pilgrims. And so we all pretty much have the same knowledge. We know about their stupid hats and the buckle thing. We know and buckles on their shoes and buckles at their hat. And we know stupid stuff that's not even true. What do you know about the Pilgrims? Who were they? What did they want? How many of them were there? How'd they fare? How'd they survive? We don't know. People don't know. We know this bullshit that we're taught. Chris writes, Lynn, since it's the day before Thanksgiving holiday, can we not talk about all the bad things that are happening in the world? Okay. Please, caps. We need a break. If just for the day. Talk about what you're doing for Thanksgiving. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Talk about Bindi Irwin winning Dancing with the Stars. I didn't know she had. Do you know who Bindi Irwin is? I think she's the daughter of the guy who got eaten by a crocodile or something. The Australian who had it, yeah. Yeah, right. If possible, talk about Doug Hirth and the woman, Gertrude, that wanted the pumpkin pie recipe. Except I don't remember that very well. I'm sorry. That would be light and enjoyable. In fact, my brother and I were big Doug fans. I'm planning on tomorrow after we have dinner at my mother's house playing the phone conversation between Doug and Gertrude. You have that? Oh, that'd be funny. Do you have that? Can you send that to me? I'd play it. That's got to be one of the funniest things ever. Although I always cringed because I know it's funny, but I always felt sorry for Gertrude because she didn't know what was happening. For those of you who don't know, this is about a woman calling a radio talk show, Doug Hirth's, may he rest in peace, talk show. And she had a wrong number. She thought she was calling a station that was handing out a pumpkin pie recipe. And so Doug takes the call. And what follows is, for anyone listening, I mean hysterical. But he toys with this poor woman for a long time. And because she doesn't really, you can tell she's just not getting it and whatever. I always felt sorry for her. I'm not a practical jokester because I always feel sorry for the person. I have trouble with that kind of humor, although I admit that is one of the funniest bits he's ever done. If you have it, Chris, and can in some way get it on, get it to me, I would love to play it. It was the way talk radio used to be, which was certainly not about talking about ISIS. Granted, if it made fun of a little old confused lady calling the radio station for a lot of other people's merriment, I don't know. Okay, so you don't want to talk about anything serious? Well, I know. I don't. Any day of the week, I don't. But, it's easier said than done. Anybody got any great idea? You want to know what I'm doing for Thanksgiving? Oh, I started to talk about this yesterday. Around here, people seem to say Thanksgiving. Celine, you don't hear that? Thanksgiving. And I can see where you would. Thanks is a big part of it. But a lot of words in Western PA, and I've been here now 35 years, still jolt my ear because I put the accent on like the second syllable and you guys put it on the first. Red light. Yeah, I say red light. No, around here it's red light. Around here it's umbrella. In my world, it's red light, it's umbrella, it's Thanksgiving. I think it's a weird thing, and I could come up with 500,000 more if my brain still functioned, but a lot of words and or phrases here. I have a totally different syllable that I put the accent on. The red light thing used to drive me crazy. And now I've come to accept it. umbrellas still drive me nuts. But I don't know. It's just, again, regionalisms, I guess.
Oh, you know the one that drives me crazy?
What? Oh, Celine's got one that drives her crazy. What?
Advance.
Ad who?
Advance instead of advance.
Advance? As a verb?
As like the car parts store?
Okay, at like the car parts store? Advance. When you say advance. Well, my hometown, almost everybody not from it mispronounces it in the same way. If you're from that place, you say Green Bay. The idea being that the adjective green is not as important as the noun bay. But if the Packers are playing and the people who do the show are talking, they always say Green Bay. Green Bay. And everybody in Green Bay goes nuts. It's like saying it's the same as if they said the Packers instead of the Packers. The Packers. Green Bay. Well, I don't know. These are little petty little problems in our lives. Anybody else on anything? Well, hell, now Chris, you screwed me up. Because I don't have anything light here. I don't. I'm going to Susan's for Thanksgiving, okay? That's what I'm doing. And my whole family will not be all together because my brother and his family will be not there. But I'm looking forward to seeing Susan's issue, her children, and her grandchild, and her granddog. And my mom already drove down there yesterday, so she's there. So it'll just be us, and I think we'll have a good time. There. Is that what you want to know? And then, we'll have fun. We'll eat too much. We'll drink too much. And then we'll all get annoyed with each other. And then happily, some of us will start peeling off and going back home. I love them all to death, but I'm used to being by myself. So it can, it's strange to be sometimes with your family. That's how we pronounce it. The family. Here's the link to the conversation with Doug and Gertrude. So it's on YouTube. So can we get something off YouTube and then play it on the air? The audio? Not? We can't? Why?
Because none of these computers are hooked up to sound, and you've got a call.
I got a call? Hello?
Lynn, Phil Marcus, I hate to interrupt your...
You're not interrupting a damn thing.
Your coming itinerary to your sisters. But you, on the speech patterns, when you start talking to one of us native Pittsburghians, you push buttons. And some that bug me, Police.
Police.
Well, it's police to me.
It is.
Haven't you heard a lot of people saying police?
They do. They say police. Right.
Drives me out of my mind.
It's the
Wait,
same thing. Okay,
I'm
you have
not
more?
finished.
Go ahead. You're right. Police.
You're, of course, familiar with the neighborhood near where you live, East Liberty.
Yeah.
All right, now contrast that to West Liberty.
There is no West Liberty.
Of course, West Liberty Avenue.
Oh, okay. West Liberty Avenue.
So the accents are inverted. East Liberty is pronounced by those who don't know as if there were other liberties. There's no South Liberty. It's just East Liberty with the accent on the East, right?
Yeah, East
But
Liberty.
when you're speaking of Route 19 on the southern side of the Liberty,
You do West
Two.
Liberty.
it's West Liberty with the accent on West.
You know, most people think, listening to this, that you're nuts and I'm nuts.
Well,
Because this is not, most people, these things don't even,
the jury's long been in on me. I'm nuts. There's the greatest one, though, which really has the reason for my call. Are you, by any chance, a Jeopardy aficionado?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know where I'm going?
No.
Well, there's a gal who has been on. She was on last night for the second time. She was champion. She got bumped yesterday.
Thank God she got bumped.
Oh,
Oh, my God. How they ever let her on is beyond me.
well, the irony is that some people drive me nuts, and, I can't stand the way they
Well,
talk.
didn't she
or-
drive you insane?
No, I loved her.
Oh!
I loved
Oh,
her
my
information.
God. Oh, my God, Phil. She had a speech impediment. And you know what I said? I said when she finally got knocked off yesterday as I cheered, I said, and I hope you use the money to get some speech training.
No, I have been. I don't watch it every night, but since she was on before the.
Before the.
And so I was waiting for her to come back because I absolutely adored that speech pattern of hers. And so she came on, I guess it was, what day is this? This is Wednesday. Right. She appeared again.
Monday.
On Monday. And won, thank goodness.
Oh, God.
And so I watched her last night. And I was fascinated. I have never heard anything like that.
No. She has a speech impediment.
It's not an impediment, Lynn.
How is it not an impediment? She would say something like, let me see how she talks.
100.
Right, yes. Oh. I'll take, yes. Instead of 100, she would say 100.
Well, it's hard to do.
100.
But I was so intrigued that I, last night, I don't have Twitter or Facebook or Michigas, but I went on the internet and I Googled.
I bet she's being ripped apart on the internet.
It's merciless. And I have no idea. I'm just intrigued by her because I've never heard. On the internet, there were a lot of people who had ascribed that pattern of speech as uptalk.
No, that's not uptalk.
It's not.
No.
It's not at all.
She did not do uptalk. She did something I've never in my life heard and was so annoying to me, I literally wanted to kill her.
Well, we're driving by this conversation. We're going to drive a lot of, nuts. Her name is Laura Ashby.
I don't know. Ashby.
She's quite accomplished. She's an attorney
she's very bright.
In Georgia.
Yeah, but she needs to go to a speech therapist.
Oh, I think that's something from her childhood that she's spoken. I don't think she was putting anything on.
No. Margie, by the way, has now said, "Oh my God, that woman on Jeopardy! I could have strangled her."
And it's so funny how it affected. There was only one person, you know how they write on these blogs or like bulletin boards, and there was only one person
who liked her speech.
And I thought, yes, we're on the same team.
Gee, I wonder if she's available, Phil. I don't know if you're available. You should get in touch with her.
She's married, and
okay,
I'm not going to Georgia. I found her speech pattern so charming and so unique. Isn't that strange?
Well, this is why, different strokes for different folks.
I definitely march to the beat of a different drummer.
Okay, I'm with you on police, but geez, that woman, I couldn't listen.
She's unique.
Well, that's true. We'll agree on that. You have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too, Lynn.
Yeah, okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Jeez.
All right, we're going to try this. It's a 4-minute clip, though.
Oh, you have it?
I'm not going to know where to cut it off. off, and I'm not sure it's going to work.
Okay, we're going to try to do Doug's pumpkin pie thing. It's only 4 minutes. If it works, it works.
I don't even know if this is the right one. So
Oh, okay. She doesn't know if it's right, but we're going to
Richard
try.
Wilson.
Yes,
Hi, Mrs. Wilson. How are you?
fine.
What can we do for you?
Well, I sent in for a pumpkin pie recipe that was on a Saturday a week ago,
Yeah.
and I haven't received it.
You haven't received the pumpkin pie recipe?
That's right.
Are you sure you sent it to us?
Ardmore Boulevard, yes.
And you did not receive the pumpkin pie recipe? Are you sure you must have left off your return address?
No. Everything was on because I mailed it.
You put down your return
Yes.
address and
Yes.
you spelled your name properly.
Yes.
How do you spell your name?
Gertrude, Gertrude.
Wait a minute. Wait, not so fast, Gertrude. I'm going to write this down. That's G.
E-R.
Wait a minute. Not so fast. G-E. Go ahead.
R.
R-L.
T.
G-E-R-L.
No. G-E-R-T.
G-E-O-T.
Yes.
T like in Thomas. Okay, go ahead.
R.
R.
U.
U.
D.
L.
D.
L.
D.
B like in boy?
No. A, B, C, D.
Okay, so that's Gertruabcd.
Yes.
Okay. And what's your last name?
Wilson.
Okay, is that W?
I.
I.
L.
S.
L. Wilson. W-I-L.
W-I-L. Okay, and how do you spell the rest of that?
Son. S-O-N.
S-U-M.
O. No. S-O-N.
Is that S as in Sam?
Yes.
And what's the rest of it? Spell the rest of it phonetically for me.
O is in Olive.
O as in Olive.
And N is in Nancy.
N as in Nancy. Okay, Gertrude Wilson.
Yes.
All right, now hold on a second, Gertrude. Let me look at my pile here and see if I have. I don't understand how we didn't send that. Hold on a minute. You mailed this when? A week ago?
A week ago on a Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Okay. Oh, now see here. I have it. Where do you live, Gertrude?
65.
Oh, okay, I got it. 65, and the zip code is.
15658.
Yeah. Now see, that's interesting. I have the address here. You know what happened? If this is not your fault, but the computer made a mistake. The computer made a mistake, so I have the address here, and I have the zip code.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't have is your name.
Uh-huh.
So let me make sure we have that name right, okay?
All right.
That's Gerald Wilson.
No,
Huh?
Gertrude.
Yeah.
Let it
How do
go.
you spell that?
G-E-R-T-R-U-D.
G-E-R-T-R-U-E-D.
D-E.
G-E-R-T-R-U-E-D?
Yes, all right.
Is that close enough?
Yeah.
Okay, and Wilson is spelled again, please?
W.
W.
I.
I.
L.
L.
S.
S.
O.
U.
O.
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 Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. O.
N.
N.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll get that, Gertrude. We'll get that recipe right out to you. We apologize again. There was a little bit of a slip up here with the computer because I see the address here and the zip code and all the rest of it.
I have just listened from 3:30 to 4. This is Tuesday afternoon to the most vulgar, trite, stupid, unbearable, illiterate, vainglorious person brag about his unconscionable lack of control.
Huh? Huh? Well, that second part was a different woman. Okay, so I haven't heard that forever. And I react as I did when I first heard it. I just think it's mean. And that poor woman then waited to get the pumpkin recipe, and that never came. You can hear Doug's delight. His voice immediately when he realizes he's got someone on his hook. That's Doug in heaven. But I personally, that doesn't float my boat. Dorothea writes, Lynn, thanks so much for playing that bit. It lifted my heart to hear Doug again. Oh, how I miss him. He was loved. Thanks, Lynn, for playing the clip from Uncle Dougie. What a talent. A tear comes to my eye when I think that he's gone. Okay, so we did it. So we can do that? Good for you. Thank you. Celine didn't like it. Celine didn't like it at all. Oh, and somebody else, Milton. Milton says she was the most annoying Jeopardy contestant.
Do you want me to play a clip of her voice?
Yes.
If I can find it.
Well, I've got it right here.
Well,
it's YouTube.
Not gonna matter.
Yeah, okay. So we'll play for Phil, who called and loved her voice. We'll play this. She lost. Thank God last night. She was dethroned. So you have her?
I think so.
It's not every word she says, but almost. See if we can hear a little bit.
Keep going.
Okay, keep going. But it shows how the way a person presents themselves or talks has huge impact on other people. And somebody should tell that poor woman. Well, somebody has, the internet. I wonder if she'll try to pull that back because it's awful. Do you think you have it?
I'm just waiting for the commercial.
Oh, we're waiting for a commercial.
Subject you to that.
Okay. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody and all that. And yeah. I mean, that poor woman. Why didn't she should have hung up on them. But isn't that weird? So some people think that that's funny, hysterically funny, and some people are like, they cringe. I'm a cringer, and Celine's a cringer.
This is Noah.
Noah, right you are.
NSYNC 200.
Yes.
New Edition 200. New Edition 400. New Edition 600. 1600. 2000. 800.
Michelle Pfeiffer and Halle Berry have both played this transformed character with heightened powers. Laura.
Who is Catwoman?
You are right.
Stop it! I can't listen anymore. Do you hear that? Do you agree it's horrible? What is that? That is not uptalk. It is some kind of an inability to end a word. I mean, to go soaring off on it. 100. It's like this. It is? It's a modified Valley Girl, whatever it is. It is so annoying. Now, you were able to find that, and somebody had put all that together already. USA Today. So, I mean, no. So you know when there's somebody like that on Jeopardy that's driving you crazy. There was a guy a few weeks ago who never smiled, who I came to eventually like. But I thought he was, as they say, on the spectrum. And he was being pilloried left and right because he kept winning and winning, and people hated him. But it's interesting. Phil, I think you're in a minority on this one, for sure. If you find that her manner of speech delightful or whatever, I can't remember what adjectives you use, but I wanted to kill her. She took my half hour that I do so enjoy and destroyed it. Lynn, thank you for Doug's piece. It hurts, but it's funny. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, it hurts. It hurts because he's gone. Yeah. Now what time do we have? We got 6 minutes. Well, I'm not going to get into anything heavy. Well, maybe we should just leave. What else can I tell you? Another thing Doug would do to older women that would upset me. And I once had it out with him about it, but we didn't. I mean, neither of us backed down, so. he would call a woman who was clearly of a certain age, like even me, but more like a Gertrude sounding woman, an old sounding woman. He would call them young lady. Celine's got steam coming out of her ears. He would say, young lady. And I'd think, what the fuck? It was so it's condescending. Well, Doug was a sexist. I mean, Doug was old school. Totally old school. But it used to rankle me. I had a lot more complicated relationship with Doug than you guys did, because he was a coworker, and because we spent more time together, and because we plowed the same fields, and because in some respects, I don't think we considered ourselves competitors, but there were things that I did not appreciate, and there were others I'm sure that he felt the same way about me. I think Doug always had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because he only had a high school degree. And people like me who had a college degree and who seemed to, I think it bugged him a little bit, and he always wanted to show how smart he was. So smart. It was ridiculous. Nobody would argue that he was anything but smart as a whip and self-educated, which I found more admirable than somebody like me who went off and did 4 years of college. But I think maybe a lot of people who don't have that degree feel that everybody else is maybe looking down on them, and that puts I don't know. I thought that was something that was rankling with Doug. What an unusual and very strange human being he was. And it's what made him so compelling on the radio, and sometimes repelling on the radio. But I came to know him, and toward the end, I knew him better than ever. He would call, and I'd have my own private Doug Herth show. He would just go on and on and on for hours. He was lonely. He was missing Lawrence, his best friend and producer. And he lost the will to live, is what happened to Doug. They took his station away. They took his job away, his love. That was his love. And then when Lawrence died, that was pretty much the end. I picked Doug up to go to the funeral, and we went together, and then we went out to lunch afterwards, and I never saw him again. Talked a little bit on the phone, but that was a tough... some people, strange, unusual people, don't have a lot, but what Doug had was that job, and that gave him life. And when they took that job, he couldn't live. I'm sorry. And what was so sad is that they could have at least let him he had another gig on WJAS playing oldies on the weekend. And there wasn't an oldie he did. He was brilliant. Talk about knowledge. But if the station took his talk show away, and mine, they got rid of talk, they could have let him do that little weekend gig. That might have kept him alive. Which is why I always faulted them. People say, you're nuts. His life was his life, and he could, but I don't know. I don't know. We hear about people being laid off, people being downsized. A company moves in another direction. People are, lose furloughed, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? It kills some of them. Kills them. Okay. All right, that's it for me. I'm sorry that ended on sort of a down note, but I am thankful for having had Doug Hirth in my life. And even though he annoyed me a lot and also made me laugh a lot, and he was a good soul at heart. I came to understand that. I came to know it. And, yeah. Have a good Thanksgiving, you guys, okay? Thanksgiving! Okay? And definitely eat too much. It's the whole idea, okay? See you Monday.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.